The weather is always changing. The roads, they're getting longer. The hunts, they're getting harder. But this is what we do. This is my team, and this is the flight. Flight TV was also brought to you by Falling Feathers Game Calls, Spectra Shot, Mike Reynolds Incorporated, A&B Lanyards, Kaminsky Development, The DeWitt Company, Big Buck Creations, Wildlife Taxidermy, Four Corners Development, Native Performance Dog Food, and by Lacrosse. While we're in Northern Illinois hunting geese, I get a call from a really good friend of mine. His name's Randy Hill, and Randy's one of the executives at Hardcore Decoys in Ottawa, Illinois. Now, we use everything hardcore when it comes to decoys. I tell you, they make an incredible product, but when that man calls you and says, hey look, while you're in town, why don't you come hunt with me on some of my private ground? You better take the opportunity, because he's known nationally for chasing geese, and he didn't disappoint one bit on this trip.
And he takes the Hardcore trailer, brings out tons of decoys, and is exploding this cut cornfield with decoys out here.
This portion of the Flight TV is brought to you by Native Performance Dog Food.
So today we're going to talk about hip dysplasia. Everybody has their idea of what hip dysplasia is. It's a pretty commonly known word, but dysplasia by definition is a lack of development. And that lack of development comes on in the first year of a dog's life. And we're obviously talking about the hip sockets in the dog. And the socket, instead of having a nice ball and socket like this, it's cupped out. And because it's cupped out, the hip has looseness to it and can move in and out of the socket. Well, that creates pain and inflammation, and that eventually leads to degenerative joint disease or arthritis. There's two ways to check for hip dysplasia. One is the OFA Foundation in Columbia, Missouri, and they literally can certify the dog at 2 years of age, and your veterinarian will take an x-ray straight up and down on the pelvis, and what we're looking for is a nice ball and socket joint where it just moves in a nice fluid motion with no laxity in that joint. And you'll have 3 board-certified radiologists read that out. But you've got 2 years of training in that dog. So another company came out from Pennsylvania University, and they call this the pin hip. And literally you can take a puppy at 4 months of age, and you can actually measure the looseness in that hip. And if you've got a loose hip at 4 months of old on a puppy, you're more likely to have hip dysplasia down the road.
All right, guys, I'm here with Randy and Jim at the Hardcore World Headquarters in Ottawa, Illinois. And I wanted to take just a minute of their time and your time to help you understand what's coming in 2014. Now, Jim is the owner of Hardcore. Jim, let me know a little bit about strategy on what you guys are doing for the waterfowl industry this coming year.
Strategy is to reinvent the old and continue to innovate and design new. So we want to come out with the best possible products that the market wants to see and demands, and just continue to think up new and better ways to kill ducks. So we're challenging each other on a daily basis to come up with new ideas and do things better and provide better products into the industry.
And I think that's important too, because you can't just stay the same, stagnant. Randy, there's a lot of new products coming out. Help me understand about the color schemes maybe of the decoys that's going to be new.
We get from going from duck decoys to Canada goose decoys to shell decoys to our blinds to everything. We got so many different things coming out that, to tell you about one, I mean, we got a whole line. We spent a ton of time last year of going through our decoys. Now we're going to mix some things up and change some things, and
relentless improvement, better colors, better design, better manufacturer, higher quality standards, new one-piece geese that we're coming out with now.
Just the elite series.
Always up in the bar.
Right. And I think that's one thing that's awesome as well, is they're constantly asking me what can they improve on. As a duck hunter, that's important to me. And I think as the viewers that are watching, you want to know that there's somebody behind the scenes that you never get to shake hands with, you never really get to sit down and have dinner with, that's working daily as hard as they can to make you a better duck hunter. And that's why we at the Flight TV, we use Hardcore.
The field that we were actually hunting was Don Hammond's, and we shared that blind that day with his 2 grandsons.
And I tell you, it changed my life. He was so sincere, so grateful. He talked our heads off on what it was like to be in the war years and years and years ago. He made it not only a hunting experience, but we learned a lot that day.
I think it's one of the biggest pits I've ever seen. And just as soon as that sun come up, buddy, that was non-stop geese from there on out.
And it was one group after another. I mean 2s, 3s, 5s, singles. It didn't matter. We had geese everywhere.
out there in that field.
This segment of the Flight TV was brought to you by Pacific Flyway Supplies for all your waterfowl supply needs. Just go to www.pacificflywaysupplies.com. I want to tell you, my relationship with my grandfather's special. His name is Tommy James Jr. And I grew up learning everything I could from this man. He didn't have, you know, the greatest education in the world, but he owned his own business. He was successful, and he taught me everything I knew. And I took the opportunity as his grandson to just basically hang on his hip as long as I could in life to learn everything that he could teach me. And because of that, I am what I am today because of that great man. Look, let's face it, we're all not given a guarantee that we're going to be here tomorrow. And for those of us who are able to grow up and grow old with our family, we ought to take every opportunity we can to make it special for them too.
Talk to me about it now. I told you, wind shifted.
I want to take this opportunity to thank Don Hammond and his entire family and Randy Hill for giving us an opportunity to catch this amazing moment, this amazing goose hunt, this amazing family on film, and to even have the opportunity to walk through Hardcore's headquarters and see everything they got. I mean, this is an amazing company, and they got everything you could imagine when it comes to waterfowl. And I promise you, if you ain't ever heard from them, you will be hearing from them soon.